In the grand symphony of the liturgy, certainly the climactic movement is Easter, the feast of the resurrection. Now, this fragment that I'm showing you here is cut so closely that no word of the text survives, only the painting of the three Marys arriving early in the morning to find the tomb empty and the angel who tells them Christ is risen from the dead. On Easter morning, in the dark hours before dawn, the monastics rouse themselves for vigils. During that office, they sing an antiphon with the prophetic words of the psalmist, "I fell asleep and took my rest, and I have risen again, for the Lord raised me up. Ego dormivi, et somnum cepi, et resurrexi quoniam Dominus suscepit me. Alleluia, alleluia." Well, on the back of the painting of the three Marys at the tomb, we find this musical fragment. What's that word? Oops, gave it away. What's that word at the bottom? Resurrexi. Oh, that's familiar, isn't it? Yes, we can reconstruct, we can figure out what has been cut out. Ego dormivi, et somnum cepi. Some words are left out. Et resurrexi, etc. Once again, that masterful painting of the three women would be viewed in the middle of the night and by candlelight. Well, if Easter is the climactic movement of the liturgical symphony, then its pastoral adagio would be Christmas. The capital here is the H of the word Odie, the first word of a responsory chant for the vigil on Christmas Day, about 3 o'clock in the morning, Christmas Eve. Again, this would be sung in candlelight, and again, there is plenty of gold leaf to reflect back onto the faces of those gathered around the choir book. So imagine the cold church shrouded in darkness as you hear the beginning of this chant. My last observation, and you have been very patient, my last observation has to do with the staff lines of the musical notation. These, you remember, are laid out on the page, and they're laid out early in the process of the production, before the text and before the notes are put in, and before the painted illumination. These staff lines are not notes to be sung, but guidelines for the placement of the notes. Thus, they are rubrics, and that's why they're written in red, I believe. Where an initial capital is later laid over those staff lines, as in this vision of the company of saints, kind of a big choir, even though the red ink may have been scratched off, the impression of it remains as a dent on the parchment, and it makes sort of an unfortunate intrusion into the painting, which is otherwise magnificent. Here, the painter has found a use for those vestigial staff lines. They are made to define the architecture of the stable in which the Christ child is born. It's ingenious, and it's an ingenious way for the word, the music, and the image all to be harmonized, that is, brought into relation to one another. Above the stable, there are angels who are singing Gloria in excelsis Deo, glory be to God in the highest, and those words are written on the on the banners that they unfold in front of them. And when we read these words, when we look at those words, we read them ourselves, if not on our lips, in our minds. So the choir books, like these angelic banners, hold the words of faith, bring them into the light, and invite us, we the living, to make them our own. Thank you.